guys, it's Upshatter here, and welcome back to another episode of the Space Engineers Experience? Whatever. Right, so today, quite exciting things hopefully will go on. As a first thing, what I might do is let me just, hold on. I'm gonna retract the drill here for a second, and then I'm gonna do this real quick because I need more material. That much is clear. I don't want to touch the depth pistons. However, we still have that upwards piston, right? That is currently at 9.5 meters. So I'm gonna reduce that probably by a half a meter. Should be fine. Also, again, thanks so much for all the good comments, especially about that wave pattern. And yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with that very sharp, like, border between, you know, the ice and the rest of the planet. This is like a voxel pattern, so yeah. All right. Upward. Where is it? I think we've retracted all the way. But I think I'm gonna just 9.0. Okay. So right now this should have not returned, this should have lowered a bit. Technically. So this should hopefully grant me some more resources. Also, even if these things should start touching the ground, drills are sturdier, that is true. The most vulnerable thing to break are rotors and pistons, generally speaking, but that should be fine as well. So, anyway, what I wanted to do today, there's like two big points. One of which is we need to get that gyro all fixed up. That's like point one, because this should make it a little bit more, you know, stable and whatnot. What do I have in my inventory? What the hell? Oh, a ton of interior plates. And the other thing that I definitely want to do is I want to place down a programmable block, because I messed around a little bit with the programming language. So I figured out it's C#, I think it's the programming language that they use, which I am familiar with. I haven't used it in years, but it's kind of like riding a bike, I suppose. You never truly forget, but I had to do a little bit of like reminding myself how it works. Anyway, let me add that to the build planner. God, we have so much stuff in the build planner. We need so many things, don't we? That's just how it is. Let me do that first, actually, because I kind of want to show off what I did. All right, here we go. So let me edit, because I wrote a little script. I'm gonna tab out, and I have it in my notepad over here, because Jesus Christ, you cannot write a script in here because there's so many like features that are missing that you expect from a code editing software that are not in here. For example, you know, if you have your like cursor, or if you click on here and you're in front of this bracket, in good editors, or pretty much in all code editors, it will highlight the corresponding bracket, which is very useful in a lot of situations. Doesn't do that here. And other stuff like coloring of different type of stuff that, yeah, anyway. So let me put that in here, and let's actually go through this real quick so you understand what I'm trying to do here. It's not a perfect script, it's a very basic one, and it's gonna do what it's supposed to do, I think. So this here, we can ignore that. And the save as well, that's always here. Basically the code starts here, and I put some comments in there from myself. So the first thing we do, well, technically speaking, the first thing I have to mention is this method here, this main thing. That's the main code that's going to execute. That's all of this that's in here. Now I have a few variables. So basically, if you never worked with programming languages, the variables are like containers that you store information in for later use. And you can define these inside of this main method, but the problem is if you do that, then every time you run the program with the run button or through other means, it will fill them in again with whatever you define these here. But that's not what we want. We want variables that remember what they had last time the program ran, so we have to define them outside of this method. That's like, I think you call that the scope of the variable is what this is. So this is more global, so to speak. It's persistent. So we have the radius, we have the depth, and we have the piston. So what the radius and depth is, that is obvious. This will save where the at which step the radius is, the radius piston, and which step the depth is. Now the piston, this is defined as 1 at the start. So what this is going to do, this is going to differentiate which one of the 4 depth pistons we're going to extend, because I'm not going to extend all 4 at the same time. So then if we go in here, first step is something very important. We have to define all blocks that we'll need to interact with our script. Actually, it's very hard to read, isn't it? Well, I guess if you really want the script, I can put it somewhere, you can copy it, but it's not that good of a script. Anyway, this one grabs a lot of different timer blocks, and we will have to create these still. We only have 1 at the moment, and we have to name these very specifically. So there's a timer block called radius, one called radius reset radius, and then depth 1, depth 2, depth 3, depth 4. And then also we need 1 piston block called the radius piston. I have to check if I named it that, but yeah. Then, every time the script runs, the following is gonna happen. And we're gonna run this all over, all the time, essentially. The timer blocks will always trigger this thing again. So what will happen is, first it checks if the radius is at 20. So if this thing has run 20 times, the radius will be at 20, and then it will do something else. We'll go into that in a second. If it's not at 20, it's going to be very simple. It just sends the start timer to that timer radius block, and then increases that variable, that radius variable, by 1. Also, I have a little echo in here just to see if it works, but that's more for debugging purposes. And then the timer block, what that's supposed to do is obviously extend the piston, run the script again, and then we go back in. When it comes back in here, this time this variable, because it was set outside, is now at 1. It remembered that. So we'll do that over and over again, and eventually it will be at 20, which is when this is going to happen. So then it will start the reset radius timer block. I'm actually going to move that a bit so it's better to read. And then we're going to do a loop. Loops are, well, 101 in programming. It's one of the first things you'll have to learn, because generally speaking in programming, if you have to write a piece of code over and over again to reach the desired point, then it's almost 100% likely you're gonna be able to fix that with a loop when you have to only do the thing once, or write it once, let's put it that way. So this loop is gonna basically decrease the upper limit of the piston back to 0, because we're resetting the piston radius. And I don't know if I did this wrong, but apparently there's no way to directly set this limit. I didn't find any way where I could say piston radius, they call it the upper limit, is 0 again. So what you have to do is you actually have to call the reduce maximum distance, the command that we have on the control seat. You have to basically do that 20 times, and that's what this loop is for. This goes through it 20 times. If you never used the loop, it's very simple actually. So you define a variable again, temporarily, and this starts at 0, and then the loop goes for as long as this variable remains either smaller or equal to 20. And then every time it's through one loop, it will increase this thing by 1. So this goes through 20 times, resets the distance to 0 again. And then there's a little debug thing again. And then we'll reset our variable that we set here back to 0. We have to do that, otherwise it will not do it again on the next run. And then we have essentially the same thing with the depth. So here it checks if depth is at 20, and if not, well, actually, if not, nothing is gonna happen. If it's at 20, there's a little like a branching thing going on, and it checks what the piston variable. So at the moment you have it set at 1, and then it goes to here, right? And then it kicks on the next timer, so the depth 1 timer. And then if we were, because we're only in here if depth is at 20, right? Or rather, after this, if let me see, did I do something wrong here? No, I think not. Oh yeah, then it resets depth again. That's what it does. Right. So in any case, at the end we're increasing the depth counter again. So this is how this should do it, I think. And let me see, somewhere. Oh yeah, right. If depth is at 20, we'll increase the piston variable, because then it will basically tell the script that now the first piston is at maximum. So then it increases to 2, and then it goes in here until we're at 20 again, and it increases again, goes to the third piston. This should work, I think. We'll find this out. Also, every time you hit the recompile button, it resets these global variables that we are using that are counting upwards. Then that's the moment they reset back to 0. So yeah. Okay. But again, as I said, we'll... Oh god, we cannot even see the drill. It's such a hard storm. Jesus. I mean, right now this thing should actually, you know, just keep turning and turning and extending again, because our dummy timer still... Oh no, it's not extending because we forgot to... Yeah, I know why it's not extending now. We forgot to... Let's see, that's one of the problem I encountered while testing this as well. If you don't set up your drills and pistons right, it's not going to do it correctly. So yeah, this should technically now start mining some more stuff. So hopefully it will be enough to finish all the necessary component. I'm not sure it's gonna work this time. It might take a little bit longer than that, because it's, yeah, it takes a lot of material, I think. But we're trying our best, aren't we? And we're also having a storm again. I really hope the lightning's not gonna mess things up here. I might need to place more decoys, I don't know. There we go. Fill that up again. How are we doing on stuff? Still filling up all my inventory. But this should start extending again after the minute. So the next steps are, we're gonna have to set up all the necessary timer blocks, and then we have to precisely calibrate all the timer blocks so they don't like overlap each other, because that's when things can go wrong. I'm not sure if they're gonna go fatally wrong, but yeah. So let's see, how many timer blocks do we need? Actually, I already have the timer block there. We need interior plating, okay. So I think I'm gonna keep this one here for now, just as a, you know, a thing that works outside of everything for the time being. So we need the radius timer block. We also need the radius reset. And then we need depth 1. God, okay, that annoys me. The T key was activated, so they're all over the place. There we go. So radius reset, depth 1, depth 2, depth 3, depth 4. I think that's all we need. I think. Not 100% sure, but I think. Okay, construction components and computers. We shall do so. That's not computers. There we go. Okay. Let's start setting these up. Jesus, we have liftoff. Woo! My home planet needs me. Alright. go. Alright, that's the 6 timer blocks, correct? Okay. So let's just set these up and give them the right names. So I'm gonna first off, I'm gonna give them all like a certain, like a prefix, so I can all get them into the search easily. I'm gonna give them like three dashes, so I can, you know, just put that in here, and then I can easily just get them all in one search bar. So let's see, timer. Just start giving these out. Doesn't really matter which one is which. We'll have to search them afterwards anyway. So, oh, there we go. So the programmable block. Let's see. Edit. So we have radius. Also, you cannot really see. I think I have marked this to copy, but it doesn't really highlight it. It's kind of annoying. It really is. So we have radius. Then we have reset radius. That's another one. Don't click run. Well, actually, it's not gonna do much if I click run, honestly. And then depth 1, 2, 3, and 4. Depth 1, depth 2, depth 3, and 4. Good. Okay. Right. Then I also have to check for the radius piston. That's what I called it. I think I'm actually gonna change it to this. You know? There we go. I can just do it this way. I think that should work. Real platform radius piston. I think that should work. Okay, cool. So, let's set these up. First, the easiest one is radius. That's the easiest one. But we have to be sure about the timing. So, the rotor, I think we set it to 0.5 rounds per minute. That means every basically 2 minutes per complete round. Correct? Yes. If we set it to 1 round a minute, then it's... yeah, okay. So that means 120 seconds. That means that radius timer block is going to have a delay of 120 seconds. I think I can do that. Yes, I can. Good. Set up the actions. Drill platform. Radius piston. We're gonna put the extend command in here just to like make sure that it actually extends, just in case it's in the wrong like mode. That's why we put it in here. An increase maximum distance. Right now it's at 3, which is fine because it's doing the dummy thing here in the background. We'll have to deactivate that before we start it off proper though. Right. That's good. Okay, and then what it's gonna do, it's gonna run the programmable block thing with no arguments. That's fine. Good. That's that set up. Now, the depth pistons, they're also fairly easy. They also have... here we go. Now we have to think about the timing. Because if we go back to the programmable block, you will see a certain peculiar thing. So let's see, program, there it is. Okay. We go in here again. What you'll see is, normally when you run through this, there's only one like start every time you go through, you know? But if it triggers the, if it goes in here, then it starts the reset radius timer, but it also then after this goes, where does it go? It does a reset radius. Oh yeah, and then it goes in here and starts one of the depth pistons. So the thing is, the reset radius and the depth piston, I have to check that they do not like overlap each other in a weird way, because if the depth piston is trying to pull down the whole assembly while the drill is still extended, that's gonna go wrong, right? So that's not what we want. That probably means we have to do the reset radius thing first. So when I call reset radius, let me think what happens then. If I call reset radius, then the radius drill platform radius piston is gonna retract, and then the maximum distance is actually gonna get set by the program, by the script, and then the program is going to get run again by the other timer. So this one is only basically retracting. We could probably do this in the program itself, but I just want to make sure that there's no weird timing mishaps. So yeah, let's see how long does the piston need to go back to its first position. That would be this one. We have that speed set at 0.5 meters per second. And a piston extends up to 10 meters. That means 20 seconds reset time, right? So that should be fine. That basically means... and this is gonna look weird, but the radius reset thing, that's gonna have a delay of 120 seconds as well, because basically this is gonna get called right after the last extend was done, and then it still needs to do its round, and then it needs to reset. So it will do this. After 2 minutes it will then retract, and at the same time it will call the piston, what is it called, the depth timer. So that means the depth timer has to have the same delay, these 2 minutes plus 20 seconds for the actual retraction of the piston. So all these depth timers have to have 140 seconds, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, right? Can I set up actions for all of them? That's weird. Let's not try weird stuff. Right, so depth pistons, they all basically do the same thing. They oh wait, did I not name them like that? Will platform piston? I'm confused. Something is weird. Hold on. I might have named them weirdly. So what are you? Depth piston. Let's call this depth piston 1. That's fine. You are depth piston 2. Oh, okay. I didn't name these yet. Okay, good to know. 3 and 4. So that should work. Right, Jesus. I mean, the setup is gonna be critical. If we fuck up the setup, it's not gonna do what we want. I mean, we have to... I almost am like tempted to put on a sound block somewhere, and whenever one of the like critical timers is running, it should play that sound block. So I know that, you know, something is going on. So I can go and watch and see if it does it correctly. That might actually be a good idea. Anyway, so depth timers. So I can search for depth. Why can I not do that? That's weird. Oh, it's because it's piston. Piston 1. There we go. So this will increase maximum distance and will also put the extend on here. Just, you know, just in case. And then this one will actually rerun the program again. And same is going to go for this one. Extend this piston and extend its maximum distance, and then run the programmable block without arguments. Good. Next one. Set of actions. Now we're gonna go through 3. Extend. Increase maximum distance. And run the program. Good. And the last one. Yes, yes, I know. 4. Extend. Increase maximum distance. Okay. Did we do the reset yet? Yes. That's just gonna do that. Okay. I think everything should be set. Now again, I'm kind of tempted to put on one of the sound blocks. But the problem with the sound blocks, I think, is that you cannot just say play like a short beep or something. Isn't it like turning? It has to turn it on and then off again. We would have to make like a sub timer thing to turn the sound block on and off again. Otherwise, it's gonna be annoying as hell. Okay. Cannot withdraw 24 metal grids. This is not doing metal grids? Not doing metal grids somehow. Well, that's a bit much. Now it's doing metal grids. Look at that. Look at that. 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, boy. So that should potentially do the gyro. Yeah. That should be a bit smoother. So yeah, this has extended again. Not quite to max. I think I'll just let this run at least for its duration. Oh my god. Okay, the lightning has struck indeed. That was the lightning storm. I need freaking... Yeah. Jesus, it's still striking. We need decoy blocks. It has actually destroyed this decoy block, or it has severely damaged it. Oh, I hate lightning. I hate it so much. Seriously, it's one of the only, like, one of the only mods I use on, like, consistently on every game that I do. Well, mostly because I'm playing on most other games, I'm doing creative stuff, and therefore on all of these I always have the lightning does no damage mod on, because I freaking hate it. I don't know, it just feels like games that make me have to constantly maintain something unless you want it to be destroyed. I just cannot stand that. That's why I don't have meteor showers on. It's just a constant struggle. And I know it's technically a survival game, but Space Engineers always, for me at least, has more been about creativity and, you know, designing stuff and making things work. Not so much about, oh yeah, you have to, you know, freaking maintain this thing again, otherwise next time the lightning storm comes around, everything's gonna go boom. And it's not like that there's a tiny chance that it could. It most likely will. You know, it's like a very, very likely thing that something is gonna go wrong. Okay. Probably should put a decoy on several points, actually. I might have to read up on decoys and lightning storms, on what's the optimal, you know, distribution, essentially. You know, I do have to say, I mean, Minecraft also have a lot of things that you always have to struggle for so that you can survive, but generally speaking, Minecraft has realized that just random destruction of whatever you've created is a very annoying thing. And I think, at least on all the servers I've ever played on, basically the options were always, or there were always mods on that said, like, creepers do not, like, destroy player-made stuff, and also Endermans do not pick up random blocks, because it's just, yeah, it's just frustrating if something that you have created over a long time, you know, you struggled, you just put your heart and soul into it, and then something random happens, you might not even be on the server, and everything is for nothing, you know, everything has been destroyed. That's just something that I really can't stand. I guess that's why I often do not play, like... That was a lightning. Or a thunder, rather. I often do not play on, like, random multiplayer servers in games like these. I basically only play with friends because, you know, the same goes for, like, griefing and stuff like that. If you want to play PvP, that's fine. I just want to create stuff. But it, you know, each and every one to its own. But yeah, we were lucky. If that thing here would have been destroyed, basically, the whole drill would have freaking bye-byed into oblivion. Which makes me think I should probably start welding this stretch. Because if I don't, next lightning storm might actually destroy it. For all I know. Okay, Jesus Christ. That was a close call and we didn't even see it. That's what's the most annoying about this. I didn't even get to see it. I didn't even get to have a heart attack. It was only in the aftermath. You know, I actually had that happen to me like a few times where something happened and I didn't even realize it, and then in the aftermath, I was made aware of it and was like, oh yeah, that could have been very deadly actually. But then again, you know, you cannot even, even if you know that it would have been fatal, what can you do about it? You know, it already happened, whatever. Right, don't worry about it. It's still a weird feeling though. Okay. Yeah, I just wanna weld this now, because otherwise I cannot sleep. I desperately need to do this, because if I don't know how often these lightning strikes will come, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be like a rare occasion, I would say. It seems like, at least on this planet, it's gonna happen more often than not. So yeah, just gonna do our best. I mean, I might even armor this up some more. Just in general, there's gonna be, in the optimal universe, there's gonna be a catwalk upon this, so there's gonna technically be more armor. But I'm like thinking, you know, just in case, putting some, where are they? Either some light armor panels, or something like, you know, something like that. Like, back to back on here, just to give it a bit more girth. So that if, like, the center block is destroyed, that it doesn't fall apart completely. It might cut off the, you know, the connection, essentially. But at least it will not freaking destroy it. Also, I could put on some support beams that, even if it gets destroyed, in theory it will still stand on its own. And we can reconnect it potentially with a, what is it called? With a merge block, if we're lucky. But yeah. Then again, I'm running out of material again. I have to kind of get this up again. And then we'll increase our radius piston by a bit. And hopefully we'll get a little bit more material. We have still 2 meters to go, I think. Or at least 1.5 we do. But yeah, that's all the resources from there. Oh man, there's so much to do. So much to do. But I think next time we can technically press the start button. But I didn't want to do it this episode because I just want to look over everything before I do it. I might even copy this world, go into creative and just let it run for like an evening and just see if it actually does it. Just to make sure. But I don't know. Oh, there we go. Increase, increase. Ooh, 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 ooh. That is what you shouldn't do. That was a good demonstration on how to not how to not deal with pistons and such. I think it didn't do anything to the drill, but it might destroy the piston if we do stuff like that. But yeah. Okay, that should hopefully give me enough material to finish this off. God damn. We also move these around a bit, so we have a little bit of a cleaned up area here. Oh, okay. I mean, at least, you know, this whole shebang is working. I mean, I went down a half a meter and it didn't fuck up anything, so technically all the future steps should do the same thing, in theory. I might even do another half step here. So let me reverse that. At the maximum distance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Well, I didn't start counting from the start. But yeah, it's 20 seconds. Good. Alright, so now we need the upwards piston, and we'll reset you to 8.5 meters. 8.5. There we go. And then radius piston. First. There we go. So this should give us a little bit more. Well, at least I think material-wise we're good. And now this one has gone the full depth as well, so that should hopefully give us a little bit more. Are we even producing anymore? Sometimes it just sends some of these productions into nowhere for some reason. But yeah, we're not getting that much material anymore. I might just do like a trip with my vehicle to one of the iron mines that we have discovered and just get a boatload of, well, I say a boatload, like a tiny carload full of iron, put that into the refinery and hope that it's enough. Because technically we're ready, I'm just very concerned about the next lightning storm. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Next time we're gonna push the button. We're gonna do it. We're gonna start this whole shebang. I just have to make sure it works. Or hope for the best. Alright guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and take care.